Welcome back. During this adventure, we'll be exploring Nevada State Historical Markers numbers 191 through 195. We're going to go ahead and start off up north in the town of Verdi. Located on the corner of 3rd Street and Crystal Park Road will be our first marker of this series. So let's take a close look at marker number 191, Verdi. Verdi. Modern Verdi came into being with the construction of the Central Pacific Railroad through Nevada between 1867 and 1869. Verdi became a major mill town and terminal for the shipment of ties and construction timbers, with a network of logging railways reaching the forest north and west of here. In 1860, a log bridge was built across the Truckee River near where Verdi is now located, known as O'Neill's Crossing. The site served as a stage stop during the 1860s on the heavily traveled Henness Pass Turnpike and Toll Road and the Dutch Flat and Donner Lake Road. In 1864, the Crystal Peak Company laid out a town on the site some 2 miles from Verdi's present location. The company owned mining and lumbering interests near the settlement then called Crystal Peak. Verdi remained an active lumbering center into the 20th century due to the exertion of men like Oliver Lonkey of the Verdi Lumber Company. A fire in 1926 plus depletion of timber reserves resulted in Verdi's decline. Nevada State Historical Marker number 191. So now, let's travel to Silver Springs. From the roundabout in town, we will need to travel about 9 miles south on US 95 alternate. Right before you cross the Carson River, you'll notice an old 2-story white building on your left. A few feet past the building is our next marker, marker number 192, Buckland's Station. Buckland Station on the California Immigrant Trail. Samuel S. Buckland was a true pioneer. He settled here in 1859. Began a ranching operation, established a station for the Overland Stage Company, and operated a tent hotel. He also constructed the first bridge across the Carson River downstream from Genoa. During 1860, Sam built a large log cabin and married Miss Eliza Prentice. In the same year, Buckland Station served as an assembly point for the volunteer units that took part in the Pyramid Lake Indian War. It was during this period that Buckland served as a remount station for the famous Pony Express route. In 1864, he opened a store and dispersed goods to travelers, neighbors, and the soldiers at nearby Fort Churchill. He later constructed the large 2-story house presently located on the site from materials obtained at the dismantling of the fort. Sam and his family are buried at Fort Churchill. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 192. Let's head over to Carson City now. Located on South Carson Street and behind Office Depot is a small park and our next marker, marker number 193. Historic Flume and Lumber Yard. Historic Flume and Lumber Yard. Approximately 1/2 mile south of this point and west of the present highway lay the immense lumber yard of Carson Tahoe Lumber and Fluming Company, the greatest of the Comstock lumbering combines operating in the Lake Tahoe Basin during 1870 and 1898. Situated at the terminus of the 12-mile V-Flume from Spooner Summit in the Sierra Nevada, the lumber yard was approximately 1 mile long and 1/2 mile wide. A spur line from the Virginia and Truckee Railroad served the lumber yard. The spur ran adjacent to this site and carried rough lumber to the company's planing mill and box factory, 1/2 mile north on Stewart Street. It also carried timbers and cordwood to the Carson yards to be hauled to the Comstock mines and mills. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 193. Our next marker is going to be fairly easy to get to. All we need to do is turn around and look north. At 400 feet away and across from South Carson Street is the U.S. Forest Service headquarters. And our next marker, marker number 194, Gardner's Ranch. Gardner's Ranch. On this site, in the period from 1870 until 1918, stood the ornate 2-story home of Matthew Culbertson Gardner, rancher and lumberman. The residence was headquarters for Gardner's 300-acre ranch in meadows to the southward. Here was located 1870-1898 the Carson Tahoe Lumber and Fluming Company's large lumber yard. During the 1870s and 1880s, Gardner logged south of Lake Tahoe for the company and built the only standard gauge logging railroad in the Tahoe Basin. He maintained his home here. Gardner died in 1908. The residence was destroyed by a fire August 20th, 1918. Many of the old trees on the ground once shaded the Gardner family. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 194. Now, we need to drive back down to the Las Vegas area. Situated about 4 miles north of Jean on the frontage road will be our next marker, marker number 195, the Last Spike. The Last Spike. On January 30th, 1905, near this site, workers drove the last spike that completed the railroad between Salt Lake City, Utah, and Los Angeles, California. This was the last transcontinental line to Southern California and one of the last lines to build to the Pacific coast. Although there was no formal celebration at the time of the last spike, those present gave some recognition to the event. Las Vegas owes its existence to the railroad, then known as the San Pedro, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake Railroad. Because the valley had a good supply of water, the railroad company platted the Las Vegas town site and established a division point there. Nevada State Historical Marker, number 195.